You have been eating watermelon wrong your entire life. And I don't mean the way you slice it or whether you spit out the seeds. I mean, you have been throwing away the most powerful parts of this fruit without even realizing it. By the end of this video, you are going to look at watermelon completely differently, and you might never toss another rind in the trash again. Let me start with something that honestly blew my mind when I first learned it. Most people think of watermelon as basically flavored water with some sugar. A nice summer snack, sure, but nothing special. That could not be further from the truth. Watermelon is one of the most underrated whole body wellness foods on the planet, and the science backing this up is genuinely fascinating. Let's talk about what is actually inside this fruit. Watermelon is roughly 92% water, which already makes it one of the most hydrating foods you can eat. But here is where it gets interesting. That water is not just plain water sitting inside a fruit. It is structured within the cells of the watermelon, alongside electrolytes, natural sugars, and amino acids. When you eat watermelon, your body absorbs that hydration differently than when you just drink a glass of water. The nutrients travel together, and your cells can actually take in and use that moisture more effectively. Think of it like the difference between dumping water on a dry sponge all at once versus slowly letting it soak in. Your body gets more out of it. Now, hydration alone would be a good enough reason to eat more watermelon. Dehydration affects everything from your energy levels to your skin to your cognitive function. But we are just getting started. Let's talk about an amino acid called L-citrulline. This is where watermelon starts to separate itself from every other fruit in your kitchen. L-citrulline is found in high concentrations in watermelon, and your body converts it into another amino acid called L-arginine, which then gets converted into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a molecule that relaxes and widens your blood vessels. This matters for so many reasons. Better blood flow means lower blood pressure, improved exercise performance, faster muscle recovery, and even better circulation to your extremities. There are people spending serious money on citrulline supplements at health food stores, and they could be getting a significant dose just from eating watermelon regularly. And here is the part most people miss entirely. The highest concentration of citrulline is not in the red flesh that everyone eats. It is in the white rind, that pale firm part between the green skin and the juicy red center that almost everyone throws away. That is where the magic is hiding. The rind contains more citrulline per gram than the flesh does. So every time you eat the red part and toss the rest, you are literally throwing away the most medicinally valuable portion of the fruit. Now I know what you are thinking. The rind does not taste great on its own. It is bland, kind of tough, not exactly the part you look forward to biting into. But there are so many ways to use it. You can blend it into smoothies, where you will barely taste it. You can pickle it, which is actually a tradition in many Southern and Eastern European households. You can stir fry it the way they do in parts of China, where watermelon rind is treated as a vegetable. You can juice it with some lime and ginger and make one of the most refreshing wellness drinks you have ever tasted. The point is, once you know what is in that rind, you start finding ways to use it. But let's keep going because there is another compound in watermelon that deserves your attention, and that is lycopene. You probably associate lycopene with tomatoes, and that is fair. Tomatoes get all the credit. But cup for cup, watermelon actually contains more lycopene than raw tomatoes do. Lycopene is a powerful antioxidant, one of the carotenoids that gives red fruits and vegetables their color. Research has linked lycopene intake to reduced risk of certain cancers, improved heart health, and protection against sun damage. Yes, eating watermelon may actually help protect your skin from the inside out. It is not a replacement for sunscreen, obviously, but the idea that a food can contribute to your skin's resilience against UV radiation is pretty remarkable, and lycopene is fat soluble, which means your body absorbs it better when you consume it alongside some healthy fat. So if you are eating watermelon in a salad with some olive oil and feta cheese, you are not just making a delicious combination. You are actually optimizing the absorption of one of its key nutrients. That is a practical tip you can use immediately. Let me shift gears for a moment and talk about something people rarely connect to watermelon, and that is muscle soreness. If you exercise regularly, this is going to interest you. Studies have looked at the effect of watermelon juice on post-exercise muscle soreness, and the results are encouraging. Athletes who consumed watermelon juice before intense workouts reported less muscle soreness in the following 24 hours compared to those who did not. The mechanism goes back to citrulline and its role in improving blood flow and reducing the accumulation of ammonia in muscle tissue during exercise. So watermelon is not just a casual poolside snack. It can be a legitimate part of your fitness and recovery strategy. Now let's talk about the seeds. This is another part of the watermelon that most people either spit out or specifically buy seedless varieties to avoid. And that is a shame because watermelon seeds are packed with nutrients. They contain magnesium, iron, zinc, healthy fats, and protein. In many parts of Africa and Asia, roasted watermelon seeds are a common snack, and for good reason. They are nutritionally dense. You can roast them at home with a little salt and olive oil, and they become crunchy and satisfying. Or you can sprout them, which makes their nutrients even more bioavailable. There are even companies now selling watermelon seed butter as an alternative to other nut and seed butters. So think about this for a second. The flesh gives you lycopene, hydration, vitamins A and C, and natural electrolytes. The rind gives you concentrated citrulline for blood flow and cardiovascular support. The seeds give you minerals, protein, and healthy fats. When you eat the whole watermelon, every part of it, you are consuming a remarkably complete wellness food. That is not something you can say about many fruits. Let me address something that comes up a lot, and that is the sugar content. People hear the word melon, they think sugar bomb, and they get worried. Here's the reality. A cup of watermelon has about 9 to 10 grams of sugar. Compare that to a cup of grapes, which has around 23 grams, or a cup of mango at around 22 grams. Watermelon's glycemic load is actually quite low because of its high water content. The sugar is diluted, so to speak. Your blood sugar response to watermelon is generally moderate, especially if you are eating it as part of a balanced meal or alongside some protein or fat. For most people, watermelon is not a sugar concern. It is a nutrient opportunity. There is also emerging interest in watermelon's potential benefits for kidney health. Because of its high water content and mild diuretic properties, watermelon can support kidney function by promoting the flushing of waste products. Some traditional medicine systems have used watermelon for centuries as a kidney supportive food. Now, I want to be careful here. If you have an existing kidney condition, you should absolutely talk to your doctor before making any significant dietary changes. But for generally healthy individuals, the hydrating and mildly diuretic qualities of watermelon can be a gentle support to your body's natural detoxification processes. Let me give you another angle on this that I find fascinating. Watermelon contains a compound called cucurbitacin, E, which has anti-inflammatory properties. Chronic inflammation is connected to virtually every major disease, from heart disease to diabetes to autoimmune conditions. While you should not treat watermelon as medicine, incorporating anti-inflammatory foods into your regular diet is one of the smartest long-term health strategies there is, and watermelon fits that category. Here is something practical I want you to try. For the next 2 weeks, commit to eating watermelon differently. Do not just cut it into triangles and eat the red part at a barbecue. Actually use the whole fruit. Blend the flesh into a post-workout juice. Take the rind and add it to a stir fry or a smoothie. Roast the seeds as a snack. Pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to your hydration levels, your energy, your skin, your recovery after exercise. I think you will be surprised. Let me talk about how to pick a good watermelon, because none of this matters if you are bringing home a flavorless dud. Look for one that feels heavy for its size. That heaviness means high water content, which means it is ripe and juicy. Check the field spot, which is the yellowish patch where it sat on the ground. You want that spot to be a creamy golden yellow, not white or pale green. A deep yellow field spot means it had time to ripen in the sun. You can also tap it. A ripe watermelon should produce a deep, hollow sound, not a dull thud. These are simple tricks, but they make a real difference. Storage matters too. A whole uncut watermelon can sit on your counter for about a week. But once you cut it, get it into the refrigerator and try to consume it within 3 to 5 days. The nutrient content, particularly the lycopene, can actually increase slightly when watermelon is stored at room temperature, which is an interesting little detail. So if you are not cutting it right away, letting it sit on the counter is actually fine and may even be beneficial. I want to circle back to something important. The reason I call watermelon a whole body wellness food is because its benefits are not isolated to one system. It supports your cardiovascular system through citrulline and nitric oxide production. It supports your immune system through vitamin C and antioxidants. It supports your muscular system through improved blood flow and reduced soreness. It supports your integumentary system, your skin, through lycopene and hydration. It supports your renal system through its diuretic properties. It supports your digestive system through its water and fiber content. Very few single foods touch this many systems in your body, and yet most people treat it as nothing more than a summer treat. There is a mindset shift I want to encourage here. We live in a world where wellness has been heavily commercialized. People spend enormous amounts of money on supplements, powders, extracts, and specialty products. And some of those things are great. I am not against supplementation. But there is something powerful about recognizing that nature already packaged an incredible wellness product for us. It comes in a green shell, it is available at virtually every grocery store, and it costs a fraction of what you would spend on the individual supplements that replicate its benefits. Watermelon is not glamorous. It is not exotic. It does not come in a sleek bottle with influencer branding. But it works. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. Watermelon is wonderful, but it is not a miracle cure. No single food is. The benefit comes from consistent inclusion in an overall balanced diet. Eating one slice of watermelon once a summer is not going to transform your health, but making it a regular part of your nutrition, especially during the months when it is in season and at peak ripeness, can genuinely contribute to better outcomes across multiple areas of your health. Also, if you have a fructose intolerance or certain digestive conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, watermelon can sometimes trigger symptoms because it contains FODMAPs. So listen to your body. If watermelon does not agree with you, that is okay. There are other hydrating and nutrient-rich foods you can incorporate instead. Wellness is personal, and what works beautifully for one person may not be ideal for another. Let me leave you with this thought. Every time you eat a watermelon, you are holding something extraordinary in your hands. Inside that thick green rind is a food that hydrates you at a cellular level, delivers one of nature's most powerful antioxidants, provides an amino acid that pharmaceutical companies have tried to bottle and sell, contains seeds rich in essential minerals, and supports nearly every major system in your body. All of that in a single fruit. The question is not whether watermelon is good for you. The science on that is pretty clear. The question is whether you are willing to change how you think about it. Stop treating it as just a sweet snack and start treating it as the whole body wellness food it actually is. Use every part of it. Eat it intentionally. Pair it with foods that maximize its nutrient absorption. Make it part of your routine, not just your 4th of July cookout. I genuinely believe that the healthiest version of you is not waiting behind some expensive supplement stack or complicated biohacking protocol. Sometimes it is waiting behind the simplest choices, the ones hiding in plain sight at your local farmer's market. If this changed how you think about watermelon, do me a favor and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more content that helps you see everyday foods in a completely new light, subscribe and turn on notifications because I have a lot more of these coming. I will see you in the next one. Don't just eat watermelon, experience it as a whole body wellness food.